The NFL Week 1 Best Bets edition of the Stevie Smalls Show on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Underdog. Underdog's got a brand new offer for new customers. Play just $5 and get $50 in bonus funds when you sign up with code SMALLS. Free roll football contest is back. It's free to enter, and you're picking every NFL game against the spread. $3,000 for first place, $4,000 if you're in the Patreon, sportsgamblingpodcast.com/free roll. Plus, we got 25% off everything in the merch store, promo code football. Make sure to check out your Triple S merch. And we have our own NFL Survivor contest, $100 entry fee, winner take all, sportsgamblingpodcast.com/survivor. Let's yap.
Steady touch balls, betting it all on the power bottom, false top, drop the football. Like hopes they've been teasing, they're missing the fall season. ACL twisted, bank account freezing, but Smalls cut the shots like some Oracle reading. Leaderboard rising while the slot machine's ringing. She's slinging play stats like Nostradamus. $100 bills raining down upon us.
I can't. I'm like still not used to that intro. Hi, it's week 1, everyone. This is fantastic. I'm so excited. First guest is going to be Brady Kannon. We're going to talk a little millions contest advice, some against the spread picks for week 1. And our beloved Jason Gold is coming on for some Stephception, some triple Ds, some player props. But without further ado, let's bring in Brady Kannon, 2011 SuperContest Champion, host of the Football Contest Show. How are you doing?
I'm great. Thank you so much for having me, Stephanie.
Yes, anytime. I'm so excited for week 1. You did win in 2011. So obviously I have to pick your brain. This year, producer Ryan and I joined Millions.
All right.
Talk to me about 2011. Like what's the story? How stressful was it?
Oh,
like where
boy.
were you at?
Greatest sweat you've ever had in your life for 17 weeks. Just unbelievable. I remember going 5-0 the very first week. And back then the results would come out on Tuesday because obviously you had the Monday night football game. And then on Tuesday, the computer screen would populate with the standings. And I remember taking a picture and showing my wife, hey, look, we're in first place of the Hilton contest. This will never happen again, right? And then about 6 weeks in, we were running at 80%. Had a couple of little speed bumps here and there, but only had 1 week. I think we only had 2 weeks, maybe 3 that we went 5-0, went that first week. And then I think there was just one later in the season. Also had 1 week when we went 1-4. And that was, a big blow. But other than that, it was like never worse than 2-3 and a lot of 3-2s and 4-1s. That's really what you want to aim for. Are 3-2s and 4-1s, and then avoid the 1-4s and the 0-5s. I think you can survive everything
probably
else.
Good advice.
Yeah, I mean, easier said than done, right? But I played for a number of years, and a lot of people get really down and out, like, oh gosh, we went 3-2. 3-2 is great. Last time I checked, that's 60%. So. That's not bad at all. And even 2-3 is okay. You just want to, the 0-5s and the 1-4s are what you want to stay away from. But it's the ride of a lifetime. And obviously these days, what is it, 15 years later or whatever, the money's incredible. But, it really changed my life in other ways. The title really at the end of the day, in a lot of ways, nowadays, who knows? You might win a couple $1 million for God's sake. But, really the title in a lot of ways is worth more than the dollars.
Yeah. Have you come close to like winning again? Have you entered again? Like, how do you, is it like a lotto thing? Like, do you still enter every single year? Do you enter more than once? Like, have you come close to winning again?
I have not come close to winning again. We've kind of just treaded water right around 500, maybe a few games over 5. Now we've had some chances where like we'll be in the mix towards the end of the season, like maybe in the top 30, the top 50. And, that's another thing about contest strategy, that when we won it back in 2011, especially after about Thanksgiving, we were pretty much in first place the entire time. So that's that's a different strategy there. But if you're trailing, you've got the consensus 5 picks, right? The top 5 picks that are the most popular, that the majority of the people are on. When you're trailing and you're trying to make up ground, you really want to try and avoid the consensus. You have to kind of take some rogue positions and try and go off the map a little bit to separate yourself from the masses. When you're in the lead, you're okay being with the masses because you just want to kind of hold serve, if you will, right? But you have to gamble and take some chances when you're trying to come from behind. And if it doesn't work, you can fall out of the money. And that's what's happened to us more often than not, ever since winning, many years ago.
Yeah. Thinking about like some of the strategy, like I wrote down a couple of things, like Thursday games, primetime games. Like, is there a strategy to those games? I know some people that just avoid the Thursday games in general. Like, how do you go about, those Thursday, Sunday night, Monday night football games?
We used to avoid all the London games
Okay.
when we were playing. And, I don't think you necessarily have to do that as much anymore because it's become so much more commonplace. And these teams are more used to traveling, overseas, Germany, London, wherever they're going, even Brazil, of course, this week. But yeah, we definitely avoided the Thursday games, and we still do that because the problem there is, Steph, that if you're going to play the Thursday game, you have to turn in all your picks, not just, you can't just turn in Thursday and then go, okay, we'll reset and figure out the rest. You got to turn them all in. And information is king in this industry. So every extra hour, every extra day that you can get with injury news and what have you helps. So, and you'll notice it when you see what the total number of selections are on the Thursday game. It's typically the least popular game of them all.
Yeah. What about divisional games? Because I think and we'll talk about week 1 lines here in a second, but I think divisional games are very interesting. And we have this year, like week 1, there's a lot of divisional matchups. So I think sometimes those are ones to look at. But as far as, the contest goes, how do you play divisional games?
Yeah, it's a good question. I talked about strategy, especially later in the season, if you're chasing or if you're trying to maintain a lead and trying to avoid the consensus or trying to kind of just run with the consensus. I think divisional games oftentimes can be marquee games, the Chargers against the Chiefs, the Lions against the Packers. Sometimes it pays dividends to go with those under the radar, ugly duckling games that nobody really, the Jaguars against the Panthers, stuff.
Yeah.
So I think that's kind of a general theory out there. Steph, is this your first time playing the contest?
I played Survivor last year with my former boss that's coming on after you, actually, but I have not played Millions.
Okay, so you're going to find that sometimes it's hard to come up with 5 picks. You're going to be like, I love these 3 games and I kind of like this 4th one. And then you're like, what do I do for the 5th one? So sometimes you might want to try to avoid division games, but you can't.
You can't. Yeah.
But that's kind of a general rule of thumb too. Betting, they say, don't bet a game just because it's on TV. Same sort of philosophy here. Don't go after that game just because it's the Ravens against the Bills on Sunday night. Go after the ones where you feel you have an edge.
Okay. And I think my last question, like before we start talking about some of these week 1 game, what's your approach to the week? Like, when do you start? Like, are you the second the lines come? Like, how do you approach the week? You have to absorb so much information. Injuries, especially as we get like deeper into the season, is going to be a big piece of it. Starters changing. There's a lot of stuff, a lot of moving parts, especially like halfway through the season. So what does your approach to the week look like before you're turning those picks in?
Well, for the first 4 weeks, I don't really look at any stats. You want to build up a little bit of a sample size here where you can start to assume that these numbers are reflecting what these teams are actually doing. I think in the first few weeks, you just have to rely on past knowledge and historical trends and situational football and that type of thing, and see what you can do there. But once we get into the meat of the season, on Tuesday, I'll start looking at the numbers and breaking down the stats and starting to form opinions that way. I will make my own lines on the game, what I think the line should be or what the true line would be, and then see what the numbers come out, see what the sports book has released, and see where maybe I have some variance there. And then you start to, you kind of mentioned a lot of moving parts. There's also a lot of noise. I think there's so much more noise during football season than any other sport, on the planet. And so I think you have to have a really good filter. Like, okay, I'm going to watch this podcast and I'm going to listen to this radio show and I'm going to read this article. And other than that, I'm going to block everything out, because pretty soon you start to hear so much, you're second guessing yourself and you're second guessing your second guesses. And you drive yourself nuts. Right. So and believe me, I've been doing this for a long, long time. And I pretty much tweak my approach every year. Generally, it's just what I described going through the process, but I'm always going to make little adjustments if I find that I've got a better way of going about this.
Yeah, I think I've always been someone, I don't pay a lot of attention to coach speak. I think it's impossible to know where. I know they have all those, the coach speak index and this and that. And even like training camp, we see this change all the time. Like I think of Zamir White last year. He was supposed to be a huge piece of the Raiders offense and he wasn't. So I think there's so many things that can change within the matter of a day or is just straight up not true. So you have to kind of fade out some of that. Before we talk about some of these week 1 lines, we are brought to you by mybookie.ag. MyBookie is your place to bet on football and everything else. Their prop builder is second to none. Their motto is bet on anything, anywhere, anytime. Easy deposit and lightning fast payouts using crypto. And I'm going to give you guys one last chance. I was just listening to ESPN giving out some divisional stuff, some playoff stuff. I'm going to give you one last chance to take the Washington Commanders to miss the playoffs at plus 146. Head to mybookie.ag, promo code SMALLS for a 100% deposit bet back bonus up to $500 for new customers. That's mybookie.ag, promo code SMALLS. NFL is back on rhythm. Last season, rhythm was 76 and 66 ATS and 22 and 19 on overs and unders. They really shined on player props. One of those was Mr. Tyreek Hill. They were 13 and 5 on Tyreek Hill props with a 31% ROI. Rhythm also has MLB, WNBA, golf, as you guys know, and college football. Rhythm has introduced a leaderboard with weekly cash prizes just for tracking your bets in the app. Track 5 bets of the same type from any model you build, and you could win $1,000. Mention I'm supposed to not read that. Sean did the same thing today, and I wasn't going to do it, but I just did it. Get your 7-day free trial. One of the things that Rhythm likes that I also like is, and speaking of coach speak and all this nonsense, Najee Harris, I don't care what you guys say, over 21.5 rushing yards, minus 114, win probability at 86%. Rhythm predicts it at him to get 55.2 rushing yards. I think that's a little bit drama, but I still like the over 21.5 there for Mr. One-Eyed Najee. Go to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. I did the same thing as Sean did this morning. That's so funny after I was making fun of him. All right, let's talk about some of these lines this week. When you looked at the board, was there one immediately you were like, that's got to be one that I would pick for the contest?
Yeah, you know what? There really wasn't. I think this is
hard.
It seems like we say this every year, but I really don't. I think this year has, you just look at the numbers. There's a lot of 1 and 2 point spreads here, right? There's nothing 6. I mean, how many? What? 1, 2, maybe 3. Is there even 3 games? 4? Yeah, I guess 3 games where you have a point spread of a touchdown or greater. Everything else is like a field goal or less. That's pretty tough. And you have a lot of road favorites too, which is really hard, Steph. I mean, especially for Survivor, do you want to take a road favorite? You talked about divisional games. Do you want to do that in Survivor? Those get very difficult. This doesn't necessarily apply to contests, but I think from a betting standpoint, and here's another, let me preface it by saying this. The bets that you make at the counter, at the window, on your phone, whatever, aren't necessarily the same games you're betting in the contest. It's really kind of 2 different acts, especially, because you have to employ game theory and you're trying to ride with the consensus or avoid the consensus or be contrarian, whatever you're trying to do, it might not translate into the same exact bets you're making as a part of your card. So from a betting perspective, I think this week really lines up well for teasers because you have a lot of those 1 and 2 point underdogs, right? So, teasing them up to 7 or 8 point underdogs, can be advantageous. You mentioned the Raiders earlier. I think that one's very interesting. They're getting 2.5 at New England. And if New England is really all that, like everybody thinks they are, then why aren't they favored by 3 or 3, So that, I think that one's interesting. Buffalo, Baltimore, boy, I mean, that is the marquee game of the week, I would have to say. And that one's super difficult. Playoff revenge for Baltimore. But I think this is interesting too. That would be my first reaction. That is one thing I thought of for sure. Like, okay, Baltimore is going to be out for blood because they lost at Buffalo to knock them out last season. Then I looked at the schedule and I'm like, oh, wait a minute. This is actually like the 3rd straight road game for Baltimore because they played their last 2 preseason games on the road. Now they're going on the road again. And teams that do that, after you have 2 straight preseason games to finish the preseason on the road and then go on the road again in week 1, those teams typically don't do too well against the spread. So that's probably one I'll be staying away from. A lot of really good games, hard ones to pick.
Yeah, absolutely. We talk about some of these games where the public is heavily on one side, kind of like even thinking Survivor. I think there's probably 2 games that are probably standing out to people that are playing Survivor. It's probably that Browns-Bengals game. And then of course that Cardinals-Saints game. Do either of those entice you at all? I know the spread there. Bengals are 5.5 point road favorites, and it looks like Cardinals, I'm not sure if Circa has moved. I'm seeing a line movement somewhere else, but I think it's 6.5 still, also on the road. Do either of those interest you? I know my producer and I have been back and forth about those 2 games. I'm a little nervous to take those spreads there.
Well, they're both road favorites, right? You're probably not going to last too long in Survivor if you continually take road favorites. The other thing is, I imagine there's a lot of people that are really scared about taking Cincinnati. That knocked out 40% of the pool last year when they hosted the New England Patriots and lost in week 1. We know their historical issues, in the Joe Burrow era of having problems in September. They're apparently addressing that this year and getting more aggressive and trying to avoid that. If they don't, Zach Taylor might be fired. It could actually be a good time to go on Cincinnati this year.
Okay.
Because like I said, everybody's scared to death about the Bengals after what happened last year and this reputation that they have in the month of September. So the contrarian play might actually be on Cincinnati. I don't think Arizona's a bad play. They should definitely win that game.
Right.
But again, I think rule of thumb, I probably want to try to land on a home team.
Yeah. So, hearing you say that too, looking at this Titans-Broncos game, Broncos are 8-point favorites.
That'll be a popular one.
Yeah, I think that will also be popular. I know also my New York Giants are getting a little bit of public steam now with that 5.5 on the road. I told Ryan, no matter what, we're not taking the Giants. I don't too close to heart right now. But what about that Broncos-Titans game? Because I think that's one that's also people are going to be drawn to.
Absolutely. It'll probably be the very most popular step. It's the biggest spread on the board, which also makes sense. You figure the Denver Broncos, we know that defense ought to be really good this year.
Yeah.
A lot of people project them to be, absolutely a playoff team. I'm not sure just yet, but I do feel pretty darn confident about that defense. And now you have a rookie quarterback who a lot of people are very high on, myself included. I hope he does well. I think he will do well. I think the Titans will have a decent season, but for your very first game in the NFL to go up against the Bronco defense at Mile High, very difficult. But Survivor strategy is so interesting too, because again, probably 35 to 40% are going to be on that game. Now they're likely going to win in advance, but when everybody zigs, you want to try and zag. And that can be what gets you out front in the end.
Absolutely. And then 2 last games I'll ask you about here before I start wrapping up and laying you out of here. You've been fantastic. People are already requesting that you come back on the show. Looking at the 49ers going on the road to the Seahawks. Seahawks 2.5-point dogs at home. Does that game interest you at all? As far as I think 49ers are going to be the popular pick here.
Yeah. This is This is a really intriguing game. Another division game, right, Steph?
Yes, I know.
And
Tons of them nonstop. They're all over the board.
they really are. And, you've actually got 4 division home dogs. The Bears on Monday night, the Seahawks, the Falcons, and the Browns. And in week 1, division home dogs are very profitable. They typically get the cash more often than not. Now, the Seattle one scares me a little bit because the Niners have really had their way with the Seahawks in recent history.
Yes.
Now, what also, has me thinking Seattle could be a good play here is Clint Kubiak is the new offensive coordinator for the Seattle Seahawks, and he's worked with the Niners and Kyle Shanahan before. He knows Kyle Shanahan's offense. He'll have a very good idea of that and grasp on that he can translate over to this defensive side of the ball. I think McDonald is a very good defensive coach. Here's another game where I love, just on a regular bet, I love teasing Seattle up to +8 or +8.5. Contest play, God, hard. Very, very hard.
It's a tough one. I know.
If I had to, if you made me
I'm making you
play this against the spread, then I'd probably take the home dog.
Yeah, I know. And I mean, even earlier on, I almost kind of like Seahawks just on the money line there.
Sure.
The other game
and that's another great point you bring up. If you like the underdog almost in any situation, put 75% of your bet on the underdog with the points and put 20 or 25% of your bet on the money line, because when teams cover the spread, they typically win outright.
Yeah, absolutely. Last game I'll ask you about here. And I don't know why I'm so drawn to this game. Texans going on the road to the Los Angeles Rams. A lot of talk about Matthew Stafford, the left tackle was injured. He's playing. Didn't get a lot of preseason work there with, Devontae Adams. What's that going to look like? Their secondary is a little bit iffy. Texans defense has the potential to be very fantastic. Their secondary, I expect to take another leap this year. The O-line is going to be interesting against that front 7 versus the Rams. Rams -3. Anything there that you would touch?
I like the Rams.
Okay.
We know Sean McVay is one of those guys that seems to care very little about the preseason. He doesn't have a great record in the preseason.
Yeah.
Conversely, he's 6-1 straight up and against the spread in season openers. So he does care about the regular season game 1, apparently, and has been very successful in that situation. He also is very familiar with DeMeco Ryans, the head coach of the Houston Texans, when he was defensive coordinator of a former division opponent, the San Francisco 49ers. So he knows how DeMeco Ryans likes to coach defense, what he likes to do on that side of the ball. I feel he's got the familiarity there. And I think the Rams really are at a distinct advantage being home here in the game 1 situation. I think these are both going to be good teams. I think they're both, teams that you can figure on. We're going to see them at the end of the year in the postseason. But in this particular game, I'm going to side with the home team.
Awesome. You are fantastic. Do you have a Super Bowl prediction? There was a question in the chat for you.
Yeah, you see so many of these, and it's really a crapshoot bet, right?
Yeah,
but I did a little bit of research, and I came up with the Bills and the 49ers. And I know the Bills are really popular, and for good reason. They're certainly one of the best teams in all of football. And of course, the AFC. Are the Chiefs going to get there again? I kind of doubt it. The Super Bowl loser typically does not have a great follow-up season. Who else? Is it the Chargers? I don't think so. Ravens haven't been able to get over that. I really think it could be the Bills' year.
Okay.
And then I think the 49ers, there's a lot of people doubting this team, but I really don't think it's as bad as it looks. They've suffered a lot of injuries in the preseason, but all these guys are basically healthy at this point. They'll get Ayuk back in week 6 or something like that. I think Ricky Pearsall is going to be very, very good. I think Brock Purdy is very, very good. And oh, by the way, they have the easiest schedule in the entire darn league.
It's very, very, very easy.
So, give me the Bills and the Niners. And I actually bet it to have those two teams represent at 40-1. We'll see if it hits.
So fantastic. You are fantastic. Let everyone know where they can find you. We'll have to get you back on. This is great information. It's going to be hard. You've added a whole nother layer to it now. So it'll take
yeah, right. Have I confused you enough, Steph? You're really ready to dive into this thing?
You're lovely. Let everyone know where they can find you, Brady.
You can find me on Twitter at Las Vegas Golfer. And thank you so much for stumbling across me. It's been a pleasure to be on your show. At Las Vegas Golfer on Twitter. I write for golf.com. I'm on CBS Sportsline doing football and golf over there. And of course, you can find me on air at Sports Grid.
That's great. We'll have to get you on for golf season as well, because it's the only other sport that I cover. Awesome. All right. You've been fantastic, Brady. Good luck this week. I appreciate you very much.
Thanks so much, Steph.
Yeah. Underdog Best Ball Mania is happening this ad read. It's not happening that much longer because we are almost there. 15 million in prizes, including 2 million to first place. No waiver wire, no arguments about trades. Best Ball is the best way to play fantasy football. Underdog, also a great place to play pick'em, where you can win up to 500x your entry. And I made a pick'em entry for 15x your monies for week 1. Are we ready? We are ready. Drake May, higher, 26.5 rushing yards. Mr. Abdul Carter getting a haircut because he's going to record higher than a half a sack. And DK Metcalf, longest reception, 22.5 yards. And this is shout out man in the box, Fairbairn. I never know how to pronounce his name correctly. Higher 1.5 field goals made. That gets you 15x your monies. Underdog's got a brand new offer for new customers. Play just $5 and get $50 in bonus funds when you sign up with code SMALLS. We're also brought to you by Novig. Novig is America's #1 sports prediction market. Since Novig is an exchange, you know you're getting some of the best prices in the market. Novig is available in 35 plus states. Download the Novig app and get $50 when you spend $5. If you use our promo code SGPN, get in on the action with Novig, promo code SGPN. I'm going to assume that Jason is here. I know I'm a little bit early, but that's okay.
He's not here.
He's not here. That's fine. I'm going to crack a noon in honor of the season starting.
He is coming soon. I'm sure. I just messaged him.
I think that added a whole nother layer to what we were like.
I am freaking out. Oh, Jason's here. We'll talk about this after Jason.
Gold is here. You guys know Jason.
I'm sure he'll confuse us even more.
He's gonna this is great. Okay. Jason is here. Hi, Jason. How are you?
Hello. What's going on?
How are you?
It's a great day to have a great day. Football's back. Let's go.
It really is. We just have Brady on now. I think producer Ryan and I are even more confused when it comes to the lines for week 1. What are your favorite bets? What are your favorite ATS bets? Now, why don't you just confuse us a little bit more?
All right. I mean, I guess let's start hot here. So let's talk about the bets that I've already made so far. So let's start with your team, the Giants. So Circa released this line. It's +6. I bet it at +7 earlier in the offseason. I still like it at 6. I think it's a good spot. So you want to talk about this game?
Yeah, we can talk about it quick.
Okay. So divisional dogs. This is a great spot week 1. You always want to be on the divisional dogs. You're talking about a team in Washington that has 2 new offensive tackles, no interior offensive line that is noteworthy at all. Samuel Cosme is still out. Tunsil was not great last year. Josh Carnley is a rookie in his first game. Your front 7 is probably going to be top 5 in the league from the jump, I think. If Jaden Daniels has any regression on 3rd and 4th down, this is a smash spot for the Giants. All Russell Wilson has to do is not turn over the ball. It could be a lower scoring game than you're expecting. 6 is a lot. So I like the Giants here. I still like it at 6. You have a breaking point at 5.5 here, where I've seen in the market some places I probably would have bet that, but I think 6 is probably still a good bet, and I wouldn't be surprised if this is an upset.
Yeah, I know. I just as far as millions goes, I don't want my team to be. I think we're taking the Cardinals for 1, and I feel like if we take the Cardinals and the Giants and they hurt my feelings, I'm going to be very pissed off.
All right, let's talk about the Cardinals then. I think this is a really, really interesting game. So everybody's out on the Saints for good reasons. I don't think anyone's super high on Kellen Moore. They're starting Spencer Rattler. They got a whole bunch of issues down in New Orleans. And I think that everybody is pretty high on the Arizona Cardinals. In fact, I have them over 8.5 wins this season. However, this line is egregiously high. It's
kind of ridiculous.
To me, it's really high. My numbers have this at Arizona minus 3.5. So one of the biggest differences on my board compared to the line out there. So for that fact alone, I can't support Arizona from my perspective. I don't hate anyone else for doing so. We saw what happened last year to some lines that we like. Like last year, week 1, I loved Carolina, and they lost to New Orleans by 50 points. So it's week 1. You never know. Arizona's offense could be a lot better. Their defensive front that they put a lot of money into in the offseason could be really good. New Orleans could be an absolute disaster. So I get it. That's just not where my head is at right now.
Okay, so then I'll ask you this: looking at the biggest spread on the board is that Titans Broncos game, 8.5 some places. It's a crazy number, but also it's a rookie QB with minimal weapons. You're going to have Surtain on Ridley, and then where do you go from there with that Broncos defense? So to me, it's like, I don't even know if that line is set improperly. It kind of makes a lot of sense.
I mean, I'm assuming that you know the history of number 1 quarterbacks against the spread in week 1. Yeah. It's terrible. They're 5-22, 5-22 straight up, 8-20 against the spread. Now you get a rookie quarterback playing in Denver at altitude against a top 5 defense in the NFL. It is a rough place to be if you're the Tennessee Titans. My question is on the other side of the ball, really. Is Denver's offense going to be explosive enough to cover this number? They're going to need to get to probably 20, conservatively, 23 points to cover 8.5, I feel like. Can they get there? Like the Titans' run defense, when healthy in the beginning of last year, was really, really excellent. So if they're unable to run the ball with RJ Harvey and J.K. Dobbins, do we trust Bo Nix and Cortland Sutton and whatever else they have there to get to that many points versus a okay defense? L'Jarius Sneed might not play for them, which would be beneficial for the Broncos. It's just a big number to take in week 1. But again, this is a really, really bad spot for a quarterback that I actually really like, who has a really good offensive line in front of them. A lot of people are sneaky putting the Titans into the playoffs as an AFC wildcard team. I don't really see that. But I did bet their over season win totals.
At all. I am gonna die on that hill. I do not. I think that is it's one of the most dramatic things I think I'm seeing right now.
I bet the Titans over 5.5 wins. I would bet them over 6.5 wins. So I think they're gonna be a better team, especially at the end of the year, than people think. It's more like if Cam Ward it's a really hard standard because we've had 2 great rookie quarterback seasons with Stroud and Daniels back to back. If he's in that category from the jump, then Denver's probably dead in the water at 8.5. If he's a normal rookie quarterback, it's probably a good spot. I would probably lean towards the Titans slightly just because I think that's a giant number. But I love Denver in teasers for sure.
Yeah. Looking at that Chiefs-Chargers game.
Brazil, throw it out the window. I mean, there's value on the Chargers slightly, I think. Neutral site game. I don't have them power rated that differently. I have the line Kansas City -2. So if you do it based on I use a points chart to kind of figure out what the right side of a bet should be and how valuable the numbers are. Being in 3 versus 2 is pretty valuable. You're getting what they call 8 points. It should be a 2-unit bet. So I get the Charger side of it, but the Chiefs, all the reports out of camp is that they're going to be more explosive, and that Mahomes is back, and they're angry about last year. Usually the Super Bowl loser the next year is bad, and especially in that first game, they're unusually bad. You're supposed to dock them 4 points in your power ratings for that. So the only side I could support would be the Chargers, but the Chargers always lose to the Chiefs. They're 1-7 in their last 8, but the average differential is 5 points. They cover the spread a bunch.
Also, Taylor Swift has a lot of fans in Brazil. I thought of this last night. It's going to be a Chiefs home game. I swear to God. I think there's going to be an insane amount of Chiefs fans there. I really do.
I would not be surprised.
It was the most psychotic thing I've ever seen, kind of.
Taylor Swift is worldwide.
I know. Kind of. I mean, whatever. The whole thing is hilarious. Okay, what about this Bengals-Browns game? Because
do we know what's happening?
Ryan wants to take the Bengals. I got a little bit more convinced from Brady. That was just on before you. But I think the Browns also, with everyone healthy and Joe Flacco, like just like doing his Joe Flacco thing, like there's a way that they cover this like at home. I don't know. I don't think the Browns are gonna be that great this year. I don't think there's anything to talk about, but I don't know. Something
okay, there's two key points here. Well, there's a couple. One is Myles Garrett playing because he missed practice today. He's got an injury.
Okay. Go ahead. He's going to end up playing half the season. You want to bet? If I can find a line on that right now, he's playing 7 games this year. I will bet anyone.
All right. Why?
I think he got paid and he's just not going to give a shit once they lose a bunch of games.
Okay. All right. So he did make his $41 million. Okay. So he missed practice Thursday. Right. If he doesn't play, then that line is going to be like Cincy minus 6.5, maybe 7. So yes, in that case, you definitely take the 5. Right. Otherwise, if he does play, Joe Burrow and the Cincinnati Bengals, they're terrible early in the year. Like this is real at this point. They're 1-9 straight up, 3-7 ATS in weeks 1 and 2 with him as quarterback. They start slow. Now, yes, they did let's play our offensive players a lot in preseason. They looked great versus backups and scrubs. If they come out firing, then like if this was a week 11 game, I would like the Bengals a lot more than I do now. There are some statistics that would say that like Kevin Stefanski's 10-20 against the spread against AFC North teams. Like they do not perform well. It is Joe Flacco. It is
also a different.
It is Jerome Ford and Dylan Sampson at running back. It is a smorgasbord of very C-list players at wide receiver. Their offensive line is torn up. They still have a good defense when healthy. Yeah. But the Bengals you're talking about the best offense in the league or one of the top 3. I like the over a bunch in this game because Cincinnati can't stop shit, and I think that the Bengals will be able to score. 5. I wouldn't take the Browns. I'd only be looking at the Bengals, and I would just be betting on the fact that they're going to come out hot. But we just talked about divisional dogs, especially at home. Like they cover week 1. This is what they do. It's just a hard one for me to swallow, but I'd lean, I guess, towards the Bengals.
Can you get there with the Seahawks then?
No, not really. I mean, I'll tell you the sides that
I can't get anyone. I can't get anyone to say it.
All right, so I'll tell you the sides that like I have circled for SuperContest right now for millions.
What are your favorite before I go down the line of every game here?
Yeah, all right. So Miami pick'em at Indianapolis. I'm out on the Dolphins this year. I bet McDaniels for first coach fired. Love it. I bet them for worst record in the NFL, but they come out steaming in September. They always come out hot, and you're talking about a game. I know it's not in Miami, but they're indoors on a fast turf against a not so great team. Like there's a good chance, and they're healthy. Like A-Chain's going to play, Tyreek's back, Waddle's back. Their O-line, even though it's not great, at least it's like together. Tua's healthy. If you're going to bet on the Dolphins,
secondary sucks ass, which I'll do Stephception in a little bit, but like that Miami secondary is an interesting picture.
Yeah, and they're going against fucking Daniel Jones.
True,
like this is the time. This is the time. If there's any week this year that you want to get on the Dolphins, to me, like this is the perfect spot. Okay. So I like them there. The Colts offensive line is going to be worse. I think that the Dolphins can get to the quarterback as soon as there's any pressure on Daniel Jones, it's done. So I like that one. We talked about the Giants. I like them. I like Baltimore in Buffalo. My numbers actually like Buffalo in this game, but I think this is a total revenge spot. I think Baltimore comes out firing. And Buffalo, they have 3 injured cornerbacks right now, including Maxwell Harrison, who's on IR. Benford was banged up. Tre'Davious White is banged up. You can't have 3 cornerbacks out against Lamar Jackson. Like you are dead on arrival. So I think there'll be a lot of points in that game. Baltimore's defense is a little bit better to me than Buffalo right now. Like Buffalo's signing guys to start.
Coleman was hurt. It's like a lot of the Bills are a little bit like it's a little iffy over there.
I think the Bills will be able to run the ball in that game, but you're talking about if it gets into a high scoring game and Lamar's passing the ball and doing his things, like, and also like him, he's unbelievable in these situations always. So I kind of trust Baltimore more here. So Baltimore -1 is a pick for me. Jacksonville I bet them at -2.5 and -3 in the off seasons, 3.5. I still like it. My numbers make this game 4.5. I was actually surprised when I saw. So I don't know if anyone follows Sam Hoppen. He does composite ratings on Twitter. He's fantastic. A lot of his ratings have Carolina as the number 31 team in the NFL, which I was surprised by. I have them at like 25 or 26. I have them significantly better, and I still had value on Jacksonville in this game. I think there's a chance that Jacksonville comes out and Liam Cohn is awesome, and Carolina's defense is still in a really, really bad spot. I think they could hang a real number on Carolina in this game.
What's the total in that game? I could see that game going over there because both of their defenses were not great last year. I'll tell you that much. 47 it's at, opened at 46.5, it looks like. Maybe not. I don't really love that number, if we're going to be honest. I lied. I don't love it as much as I did.
I mean, the hook and the 3.5 is tough, but
I know
that's a spot that I'm looking towards that I really, really like. There's a couple other ones that I'm kind of circling for that 5th spot.
Yeah.
Right now. So I see a little bit of value on Atlanta, +2 home divisional dog. Tampa Bay's all banged up. If it weren't for the Caleb McGarry injury and Penix's right tackle kind of being out, I would be all in on that. I like Atlanta
too, but I don't.
Yeah. Atlanta as a teaser piece is really interesting. Kind of don't hate the Raiders.
I like the Raiders a lot this week. I think that the Raiders I think this is just a nice spot in general. It's so interesting. The Patriots are one of those teams that when I first, when the preseason, pods started and shows started, kind of like the 49ers as well. Those were 2 teams I was very, very high on. And as we got closer to the season, I started trending in a direct, not that I'm low on them. I'm just not as high as I was to start. But I think the Patriots are maybe getting definitely a little, now the hype is getting a little bit out of control. Even I was watching ESPN, there's multiple people that have them as a wild card piece, which to me is that's fine. But your reasoning is not great at all.
Their season win total 8.5 was one of the more jarring things that I've seen this offseason.
Yeah, they're ridiculous. What are we doing now? So I think the Raiders can come out and make some noise. I saw Gonzalez was on the IR. I don't know what his deal is.
He's going to be out for this game. It seems like.
Yeah, I think Max Crosby can have Drake May in hell. I think I'll say it a little bit later. I said in the underdog piece, I like his rushing yards because he'll probably take off quite a few times during this game. But there's not a lot of certainty in what who is getting the targets on the team, what that looks like. As far as the pass catchers, is it going to be Hunter Henry? Is Stephon Diggs going to come back? When are we going to see Kyle Williams? There's a lot of things to figure out over there too.
Yeah, I think that Trevion Henderson might end up with the most receptions on that team.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I know I was actually looking at that line as well, but I think the Raiders could probably be in a good spot. You have Pete Carroll coming in. You have a seasoned vet in Geno. You have Brock Bowers. There's a lot there to also. It's a little bit more straightforward than whatever this Patriots team is.
Yeah, no, I think that I'm leaning towards. I like Vegas a lot. I keep saying teasers, but there's a lot of good teaser lines out there if you're just betting these. But at 2.5, I'm intrigued by Vegas, and also there used to be this theory that West Coast teams traveling east and playing early morning games was bad, which used to be true, but now over the last couple of years it's shifted, and actually these West Coast teams have a little bit of an advantage against the spread. So one to keep an eye out on for the rest of the season. That's not as overblown as you think it is. Going down the board, other teams I like. I wish that I could get there on the Jets. I really wish I could.
I was there until I also saw Gardner is a little bit that he popped up out of nowhere. I absolutely hate that. I don't like the way he popped up out of nowhere. I liked the Jets. I was all in on taking the Jets, and then I'm kind of going the other way. I saw that Perk Rogers is back. He looks like he's on some type of drugs again. I think he's probably going to ball out this first week. I don't know. Then you have ABT out. It's
yeah, it got bad for the Jets real quick. It's just I like catching the full number of 3 at home against a team that's really their defense is going to be great. The Jets defense is probably going to be pretty good.
Yeah.
I have no idea what the Jets offense is going to be other than, probably dog trash and a lot of running the ball. But like the Pittsburgh offense to me seems like it's going to be very unsettled and in a weird place. So like catching the 3 at a low total, I like that side. I would still lean towards that side, but I just can't get there all the way. Another side, so I have the Packers in the Super Bowl, but I would bet against them week 1.
I think so too.
I think that line jumped a point on Micah Parsons. Went from 1.5 to 2.5. Based on fucking what? He's a great player. He might only play 20 snaps in this game. They jumped the line a point on vibes. Like, I get it. Detroit has new offensive coordinator, new defensive coordinator. They're playing at Lambeau, but like,
yeah,
I think that it's overblown. I still think Detroit's a really good team. I think that number is a little too high. Even though, I am fading the Lions for the year. I had them under 10.5 wins. I really like the Packers. I think they're going to win that division. But in this game specifically, I just think that point made no sense to me. So I'd rather take the value there. The Minnesota-Chicago game and the Rams-Houston game, I'm lost on. Like, I kind of like Houston a little bit.
Houston. I like Houston a lot, Jason.
Okay. So explain that.
I don't know what it is. Like, to be honest, and like in my triple Ds, like I have Texans +3 down as my dog.
Okay.
I understand that what everyone is hearing is like, well, Stafford's playing, so he's healthy. So if Stafford's in, they're going to win. That's all that matters. Look at the Rams front 7 and the O-line for the Texans. I think that Tunsil being gone, like there's something about Tunsil that was infecting that O-line room like an absolute like fungus. I don't know what was going on there. I don't think people realize how great the secondary is that Houston has. I think them, Stafford being banged up, getting the epidural, whatever it is, he obviously didn't get as much work. Not that he needs it because he's old. And he's a seasoned vet. But you have Devontae Adams coming in. You're losing Cooper Kupp. You're going to have to rely on the run a lot more than people realize. Like last year, they allowed like just over 200 passing yards per game. Like the Houston secondary is so very serious. Like I think that they can take another leap there. I know that the left tackle too for the Rams was a little bit banged up. He's playing. It's something about this defense here. It's something about, I think the Rams are going to need a second. And maybe that's only 1 week, but I think it's going to take a little bit more. Did they win this game? Sure. But like, can Texans cover the +3? Yeah, I kind of think so.
Yeah. You're convincing me a little bit more the more that I think about it, because I really like Houston's defense. I think they're amazing. Danielle Hunter and Will Anderson up front too. Like they're gonna get after Stafford. Stafford might be 1 hit away from just season over.
That's what I'm saying. Like I think it's not. There's only so many times that you can revive like a dead back, and there's like only so much you can do. And I think again, new pieces too. Cooper Kupp was always kind of this like pacifier for him too. He doesn't have him there anymore. I don't know. And I think I bet Devontae Adams over his like receiving touchdowns for the year. Like I see the picture. I see whatever it is going for there. But I think this Texans team, everyone is so low on because of last year. And a lot of that was straight up just the O-line sucked. And Stroud didn't have weapons. But outside of that, you look at what they did defensively. If they can even get themselves back to like somewhat of what they did Stroud's like freshman year, I don't think this team is going to be as bad as like the public is acting like. It's kind of obnoxious to me.
I think that people are too early to forget that both of these teams lost in the divisional round last year. Like they went to the same exact place, and people are acting like the Rams are in a completely different place than Houston. Meanwhile, Houston has a young, healthy quarterback. Rams don't. Also, the Rams always start slow. They are a slow starting team. So yeah, all right. I'm with you on Houston.
+3, like I just see how this game is going to play out in my head. And I think like, again, it's like all you're going to hear about is that front 7. You're also not going to hear about how the Rams secondary is also not something to like ride home about. Like there's nothing like that crazy about it. I think maybe you see improvements as like the season continues, but like for the first game and like you said, like they don't come out of the gates hot. And I like them. They're going to be in my triple D. They're going to be my dog of the week. Like, I just think the +3, I tweeted it. Everyone's going to hate it. That's fine. But again, no one's on the Texans. This is a classic week 1 example of a game that goes in my favor because everyone is backing the Rams because Stafford doesn't matter if he's playing. He's fine. I hear everyone. I just think there's other reasons why you take the +3 at the Texans.
All right, so we're on Houston, and then the last game that we haven't talked about at all is Monday night, Minnesota Chicago, which this is a mind fuck of a game.
I know. And you know me, I'm always like a little bit biased to the Vikings, so I'm starting to not feel as strongly about that. But the Bears, like, again, another thing that the public I think is getting wrong. I don't think they know how strong this Vikings defense is either, and I think that can put Caleb in an absolute, like, I think that could drive him absolutely nuts this game.
Yeah, I have no expectations for the Chicago offense in this game. This is so all offseason, they're talking about Caleb Williams is having trouble picking up and they're overloading him with information. They were going to pare it down and they have all of these new young pieces. Really exciting for their future. But week 1, now you have Brian Flores and that defense coming in. They signed more guys in the offseason. They have all the money on this defense. They are loaded up. And you're going to see every single exotic look that you've ever thought about being thrown at Caleb Williams while he's trying to learn this new Ben Johnson offense that Ben Johnson wants it to be exactly perfect. That seems like a recipe for goddamn disaster, which is why I was on the Vikings. But on the other side of the ball, we have J.J. McCarthy without Jordan Addison, with Adam Thielen, who just came in. Justin Jefferson has this. He's questionable. He's going to play, but he's not going to be 100%, it doesn't look like. You have a couple of new offensive line pieces. Like, there's a chance that there's just a lot of turnovers in this game, which makes me like the over, coincidentally, more. I like that over 43.5. I bet that. I just think this game's going to be like a fun shootout, shit show type of deal. And I can't pick a side. I really don't know.
This is like also hearing you talk about that. I need to look at Hawkinson props at some point. I didn't get to the Monday game as far as like props and stuff went, but Hawkinson sounds like you could possibly eat in a game like this. Yeah, I don't know. I need to see Chicago. Before I'm going to confidently bet on Chicago in any fashion, I think I need to
see what the hell it is. Yeah.
I need to see like 3 weeks of it because I've been saying all offseason too, like Ben Johnson's offenses have always been a strong run game. Great. Yeah. Amazing. I also saw that Roshan Johnson might not be playing. Great. Now we're taking another piece out. You're going to rely on a rookie RB to be your RB2. His foundation is DeAndre Swift and now a rookie RB going into week. Like, something about it is icky. Like, it's not going to operate the same way as having, like, I know that he knows Swift and that's what everyone's like defense will be to that. But I need to see how that works. They have so many pieces too.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. That's probably the game that I'm like most interested in seeing what it is because I don't know what any of it's going to look like.
I think no matter what it is, those teams split. Like, I don't think the Bears go to Minnesota and beat them is the thing.
Yeah. I mean, I think both teams by the end of the season are going to be like good quality teams. It's just week 1. I don't know what to expect from just like either quarterback, to be honest.
Yeah. JJ, I don't know. I really do feel like he doesn't have to do much to be like for that team to be good, but week 1's a different scenario. So like I've been saying that all preseason, but week 1's a little bit different. That's a little bit different. Like going to a pretty hostile environment in Chicago, bright lights, like Vikings don't always play that well in prime time. Shout out Kirk. Like, I don't know. Like, I just think I think it's a recipe a little bit for disaster there. What would your favorite dog be on the board then?
Off the top of my head, I think it would be the Giants. I think that they're the biggest dog that I'm sorry. I think they're the biggest dog that could actually pull the upset. Like, I don't think that the Cowboys are going to win tonight. I don't think that New Orleans is going to win, although I guess that wouldn't shock me. I don't think Tennessee is going to win. Yeah, so like at 6, I think that's the biggest number on the board that could fall. Sorry.
Oh man, no, it's okay. It's totally fine. I'm going to stick with my Texans +3 there. Do you have a dad bet for the week? It could be a prop or your favorite line.
Oh yeah. Okay, let's do. Well, my favorite line would be Miami, but we'll do dad bets. All right, let me pull up everything. I have one. Actually, you know what? I'll shout out Chris Raybon because he put me onto this one. All right. So he had a little nugget rumor that Jacksonville is going to use their version of the tush push this year. So
why? I'm having deja vu because CJ came on and said this about Brock Bowers. So maybe we need to do something.
Oh,
whoever you're about to say, I have 2 insider information now.
Okay, so Trevor Lawrence, anytime touchdown, plus 400.
Okay.
And because Carolina's defense stinks, let's say fuck it. Let's go Trevor Lawrence, 2 rushing touchdowns.
Oh,
let's get real spicy with it. Also, they have like no goal line back. Like, who is it? Is it Tank, Etienne? Is it
I'm not
Tootin? Who knows? So if they get to the 1 yard line against a terrible defense, we kind of like the over there at 47. I like Jacksonville to cover. I think they're going to score a bunch. Let's go Trevor Lawrence, 2 touchdowns.
Oh, I like that. Mine is actually in that game as well. I've told 2 people it. They hate it, which is fine, which makes me like it more.
That means it's perfect. Yeah.
Chuba Hubbard over 7.5 receiving yards, minus 115. Very casual. Don't worry. Wait till you hear my dumb fuck bet. Last season, Jacksonville allowed like the second most. They allowed a shitload of yards to the running backs. Their depth chart, the Panthers, little scarce if you haven't heard. Like they have McMillan, and then they had to take Renfro. They cut Renfro, brought Renfro back. Thielen's gone. I think having him, you could take the over 1.5 receptions, which I wouldn't knock you for, even the 2.5. Like 7.5 receiving yards for this guy who's gone over this like 9 out of whatever amount of games last year, 9 out of 15, I think it was. I like Chuba Hubbard to go over the 7.5 receiving yards.
Cool. I like that.
Everyone hates
sure.
it. That's you. You have to go with whatever hates. What everyone hates. My dumb fuck bet this week. This is what would make me happy. That's how we're doing it. It's a 41-1. It's Malik Neighbors, 80+ receiving yards. Neighbors a 30+ longest reception. New York Giants defensive touchdown, and Neighbors over 6.5 receptions. I actually don't think it's that insane. Let me see the fucking moon ball. Let me see the defense you talked about. I'm not worried about Lattimore or Trey Amos, whoever this would make me happy. That's how I'm happy with week 1.
Well, Neighbors cooked in both games last year versus Washington. So I'm all in on that side. The defensive touchdown, you're throwing up a little prayer there, but like, why not?
Why not? This is what I want. If you want me to actually be happy, don't win the game. This needs to cash.
As long as they cover. As long as they cover.
Any other props that you like?
Well, based on that long shot, why don't I throw one out for tonight for the people? All right. Will Shipley last touchdown scored tonight plus 2,800.
I had a dream that he scored.
So let's just operate under the theory that Eagles get up a bunch. They're going to take a workload off of Saquon. Like they're not giving him fourth quarter carries if they're up 3 scores. Right. So Will Shipley's their only number 2 back. They've made it very clear he's the guy there. If he scores the last touchdown of the game, I would not be shocked at all. And at 28-1, why not a little sprinkle on Thursday night, first game of the season, get us kicked off in the right way?
Yeah. I gave Shipley out on Tuesday's show, I think it was. Okay, maybe I'll have you help me out with a few of these. How much have you been following the Chargers, actually?
A lot.
Yeah, I know. Okay, that was I know. So for Stepception, one of the things that I think Keenan Allen in this game, I think, they keep saying he hasn't missed a beat. Like they might struggle to run the ball here, switch to pass heavy. All reliable Keenan over 16.5, longest reception minus 114. Kind of love it.
If there's any game that you want to bet on Keenan Allen overs or anything, it's this one. Absolutely.
He's historically played well against the Chiefs. Like I like the minus 114 here.
If you're gonna bet Keenan, do it this week because next week is not promising.
And then I'm done. Like this will be the only Keenan Allen bet. This is the only KA bet that we're getting on this show for the entire season. Staying in that game too, Hollywood Brown. Over 16.5, longest reception. I see it at 18.5, some places minus 118. Healthy, weapons for Mahomes. Bryce is out. I'm just asking him to get one catch. I'm not doing the over 3.5 receptions thing that everyone is betting. It's crazy.
Yeah, I guess the only concern would be like how healthy is he actually?
Yeah.
Coming back from that.
Healthy enough for one catch.
Yeah, exactly. And like what sort of defense the Chargers going to like every defense So the Kansas City, the last 2 seasons, they keep talking about wanting to push the ball down the field, and they've kind of drafted Worthy for this reason. They signed Hollywood Brown for this reason. They want to throw the ball down the field, but every defense just plays this too high shell where they basically force them to throw it underneath. I don't think the Chargers are any different. They've done this historically, so it's a little bit of a prayer, but it's Brazil. Fuck it, anything can happen.
Yeah, exactly. A couple other ones I'll rattle off them. I like DK Metcalf's, like I said, Calvin Austin too, if you want to sprinkle there at 14.5. Honestly, you know what stood out too? This isn't the longest reception, but Jaylen Warren saying that him and Aaron Rodgers are best friends. I don't know how I'm betting it yet, but I have to find a way to do that. Even his receiving yards is interesting, but Evan Ingram, I like his longest 15.5. I like his anytime touchdown, which is kind of gross. My old friend there. Could you get behind any of the Colts receivers to have a longest reception here? And who would it be?
I don't know if I would
going to against that secondary. And I kind of like AD Mitchell.
The longest reception for a Colt would have to be either Alec Pierce or AD Mitchell. I don't know where Mitchell fits in. Like, he always flashes in preseasons, but then does he get any game rep? Like, he's stuck behind. It's going to be Josh Downs. It's going to be Michael Pittman. And then it's some combination of Pierce and AD Mitchell. And Daniel Jones doesn't look you know this. He doesn't look past the second target because he gets frazzled and he can't look this. So, no, I probably wouldn't do AD Mitchell. If you're going to go longest, I'd probably do Alec. But I do like in that game Josh Downs over receptions because of the cornerback situation for Miami and the fact that he's going to be first or second read a lot. Yeah, I kind of like that. It's either Warren or Josh Downs is going to have like a 9 reception, 80 yards touchdown type of performance.
Yeah, I always get scared. I feel like I've only bet on a couple rookies week 1 because I feel like I'm nervous and I need to see what they look like week 1, week 2. But I did bet AD Mitchell's. It's 9.5 his longest reception minus 115.
Okay.
That's
all right.
beautiful.
Well, it's basically one catch.
Like, he could emerge as this little like vertical deep threat. That's what I would imagine. Again, it's Daniel Jones, so it makes me a little nauseous. And I did bet Josh Downs as well. Nico Collins was interesting to me, and then Cooper Kupp.
I don't know. I have no idea what to do. I have not a freaking clue what to do with Seattle offensively at all, which is why when you talked about the San Francisco minus 2.5 line, like, I think the Seattle's defense is going to be incredible. And I think that San Francisco's offense is going to be pretty good. I think even out of the gate. So, like, I'm torn on that game, but Seattle's offense with the terrible offensive line with 2 really good running backs, they're healthy, so they're good right now. JSN we really like, but Sam Darnold behind his shitty offensive line with Clint Kubiak, like, I don't know. I think it's going to go badly.
But
I could be wrong.
You know how he came out hot? I think
with New Orleans.
I think he settled back into himself, like how he did that last year with the Vikings. It's like he was doing great, and then it's like interception.
But in those 2 games, he just got absolutely blasted by defensive lines. Like, that could happen again in this game. I don't know. It's one of those kind of like, I wait and see, and I'm really interested to see.
Maybe I'll stay away. You convinced me to probably stay away from that actually entirely. Any other player props that you are looking at?
Yeah, I'll list the ones that I've bet so far. Aaron Rodgers under 210.5 passing yards. For obvious reasons, I don't think they're going to have to throw the ball in that game, and he has to throw it too. So under. Trevor Lawrence over 21.5 pass completions. I think they're going to air it out. I don't think they're going to run the ball that well, so air it out. Dak Prescott tonight over 35.5 pass attempts. They're going to be behind. You got to chuck it down the field. Trevion Henderson over 20.5 receiving yards. I think that number is way higher at this point. I believe in him as their main offensive weapon when he's on the field, so I'm going to probably hammer those for the first couple weeks. Baker Mayfield over 12.5 rushing yards because there's no Tristan Wirfs and Atlanta's defensive line sucks. I think that he's going to scramble and find some yards out there. And then I bet it's kind of sucked, but I bet Christian Kirk under 41.5 receiving yards because I had heard that he wasn't going to play or be limited. So I ended up pivoting off that, and I bet Dalton Schultz over 23.5 receiving yards in lieu of betting the Kirk under.
Well, if they would give us a Higgins line, for the love of God, I would probably bet something regarding him.
Here's the thing, interestingly enough. If they put up a Jalen Noel line, I'm actually more interested in that because I think that he's the one-to-one replacement for Kirk, not Higgins.
Okay, that's good to know. Okay, good to know on that. Interceptions wise.
Oh, the small special?
Small special here.
We're back.
I have ones that are going to make people, you guys are not going to be happy, and that's okay. We're just going to roll with it. Starting off with Baker, actually. Baker threw a lot of interceptions. Jesse Bates was an absolute ball hawk last year. Tied the league last year, 16 interceptions. I like the -110 there on Baker for a guy that just threw 16 last season, tied with Kirk Cousins. Stafford, listen, I know he didn't throw a lot last year. I hear everyone. But again, I'm going to follow up with my Texans secondary being fantastic. They have Stingley and Bullock, who were 6 in defensive interceptions, like tied together there. Absolutely fantastic. Stafford's back. Texans secondary is good, -115. Also, that line is not going to be there very long. I promise you that. Brock Purdy, +100. I think, again, Seahawks defense underrated here. I think adding Amanawore is really fun too. They can play these three safety spots here. I like to see what McDowell does. Like looking at their last final 8 games, number 6 in defensive EP. Like there's a lot to like there with what they can do. And then Jordan Love +105. Those are the ones I landed on. Yeah, I landed there. I think they wouldn't be the ones that everyone goes to. You're hearing Daniel Jones and the usual suspects there. But those would be the interceptions that I like.
You can't go wrong with the small specials.
No, you can't. You absolutely can't. Other things I bet before we start wrapping up and get out of here. Won't list everything. Jonathan Taylor over Russia Thames. Theo Johnson, 2.5 receptions, +112, and his anytime touchdown there. I think by the end of the year, he's second in targets for the New York Giants. Kamara over 4.5 receptions. I'm being a brat about Najee. I refuse to believe he's just not going to be involved. I love that for the fantasy community. I just don't think it's going to end the way that everyone thinks. Jawan Johnson, Kellen Moore loves a lot of 11 personnel. His longest reception is 13.5. He's going to be on the field. He just got an extension. And then I think that's about it. Everything else I can post on Twitter there. Anything else for this week or this season that you want to get off your chest before we wrap up?
Oh my God, hot takes that I have for the season.
Yeah.
Let's go to preseason bets. I just need to make sure that I have this dialed up. All right, I'll share. I think you still got an hour to place the bet. So Miami under 7.5. McDaniel's first one fired. Worst record Dolphins. Raiders under 7.5. I like what they've done, but that division's way too tough. Cardinals over 8.5. Eagles under 11.5. Lions under 10.5. And I bet the Cowboys after the Parsons trade when it went down to 6.5. So Cowboys over 6.5. Hot takes would be Bills versus Packers in the Super Bowl. I don't know how hot that is, but that's what I have right now. MVP, I like Jordan Love. Defensive Player of the Year, Jalen Carter. So those would be some bets I would make.
I like it. I'm trying to think if I have anything else to add. I think that's it. When are you going to come back on? We got to get you back on soon. But you know what I'm thinking I want to bet? Vikings first half on Monday.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah. Thinking Vikings first half. That just popped out. And maybe Swift rush attempts. Yeah. That's it. I think that's all I got. That's all she wrote. I'll probably add some more on Twitter. Ray Davis, anytime touchdown. Kolar, anytime touchdown. I think I've given out a bunch of these already on the show. Let people know where they can find you, and I'll let you get out of here. You've only confused me a little bit more, so me and Ryan are going to have a lot to discuss.
Yeah, I can't wait to hear what your 5 picks for millions are. You can find me on Twitter at Jason Gold 24.
I miss you, Jason. Come back on soon.
All right, anytime. Thanks.
See ya. All right.
You just threw out so many bets. I'm confused. What were your 3D? What were your triple Ds?
Well, listen, it didn't say as structured as normal. So it's never going to be as structured when Jason comes on because there's a lot to discuss, a lot to get out.
All right. Yeah. I have no idea what just happened.
Ready? You want me to run it back? I will.
Yeah, please.
Okay. My dad bet is Chuba Hubbard over 7.5 receiving yards, -115. Dog is Texans +3. And my dumb fuck bet is 40-88 +40-88, basically 41-1. Neighbors 80+ receiving yards. Neighbors 30+ longest reception. New York Giants defensive touchdown. Neighbors.
That's right. All right.
6.5 reception.
Wow. Very, very strong,
Yeah.
very heavy Giants dumb fuck bet. I like
Well,
it.
it's because it's week 1. This is what would make me happy. That dumb fuck is me this time. It's not just you guys.
All right. No, I like that. Those are good bets. Yeah. I was actively betting. I actually was betting those while you were talking, and then there were so many bets I couldn't.
There's so much going on.
But I like those. I like those.
A lot going on. I got to bet Trevor Lawrence to score a touchdown when we jump off here.
I bet that. Yeah, I bet that.
Plus
400. I like that.
We are fucked when it comes to millions because I feel like the two of them just confused me even more.
So yeah, I feel like we have way too much information.
Yeah, I think we should stick with what we know.
We were already warned about that when we were in Vegas.
Raiders,
like,
Chiefs Raiders, not changing.
Chiefs Raiders. All right. Despite
Cardinals.
the fact they're in Brazil, right? We're
don't care.
We're gonna say fuck it. Gonna go with Chiefs. Gonna rely on Andy Reid having all season to prepare for this game, right?
Coming off rest. Taylor Swift, it's gonna be like a home game because they like waited. They were, I don't know. I'm all for it. He kind of swayed me a little bit towards the Bengals, but unfortunately, we're still not taking the Giants, although I think it's probably the right pick.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I have come around more on the Giants, but I know you're against that. But I did just find I want to just throw this out there, kind of not in favor of the Bengals now that I already tried to talk you into them. Divisional home underdogs are 23-6 against the spread since 2009.
Yeah,
home divisional. Again, I don't want to throw out more information, but that is kind of great.
I think if we're ever I don't foresee us taking the Browns at all the rest of the season. Is it?
I kind of feel like we stay away from that game.
I don't disagree with that. I can get behind that 100%. I'm fine with that. I feel like
I can get on board with the Texans. I can get on board with Texans.
I think we should do Texans. I know it's probably that's going to be a pick that people really don't like, but I still like it. I'm not gonna change that there. I know someone's saying Dallas plus 8.5. We're not picking a Thursday night football game for the millions contest, although it's interesting.
Right. So we've got Texans plus 3 versus the Rams. We're gonna go with that. I know he gave some good, Sean McVay stats, but you were swaying him towards the end.
Yes.
So I felt like that's interesting because
I also think that's one where Brady was like, if you can be contrarian, do it. And I think that the Texans is the contrarian pick there. I think that people are going to be on the Rams at home.
All right. Then we got Raiders and and we got Chiefs. Okay. So we need to pick 2 more.
What's everyone in the chat's favorite spreads? You guys have any idea? I liked the Seahawks, but then they kind of both made me hate it.
Well, the Seahawks goes to that home underdog play that I just listed. So that makes it interesting.
Did the Steelers Jets line move at Circa? Is it 3 or is it 2.5? I know all the trends are against the Steelers here, but I don't have. Did you see Perk? Did you see Perk Rogers? He's definitely back on something, and I'm kind of fucking in. I'm kind of fucking in on the Steelers again. I know I was not that positive.
I'm saying I brought that up before. I'm kind of into it. God, why is this login's not?
And I don't hate the Dolphins. I know you brought that up earlier. I think I could do it.
Yeah, I do like the Dolphins. Okay, I'm finding. Okay, so it's Steelers minus 3. That's the line you were asking about, right?
Yeah. Trevor, you want me to take the Jets? I can't take the Jets with AVT out. It's hard for me. I was there. I was totally there until Sauce Gardner and AVT. You think you'll be cheek. See, guys, there's too much information. You're right. Maybe we'll have to surprise everyone with what our last 2 picks are.
Are we leaning Chiefs minus 3? Are we leaning Dolphins pick 'em?
Yes, I am definitely headed towards the Dolphins pick 'em thing, but knowing my luck, my ex will tear it up. And then I have to like be haunted by Daniel Jones ruining that trend of the Colts not winning since 2013 or whatever.
I mean, let's not get that rumor out there that you used to date Daniel Jones. Don't tell me your ex. I feel like.
Yeah, it's fair. It's fair. It's fair.
All right. So yeah, every other one we just seem to find holes in, and I don't want to push the Cardinals, especially at that large line, but a lot of stats do favor them.
We can do the I can get behind the Cardinals.
Okay, so we're leaning. We're not we're both in on Texans.
We're not supposed to say lean on the network.
What's that?
So we're not supposed to say lean on the network.
Are we not? Oh yeah, that's right.
No, you're fine.
Oh, I forgot. I forgot. I'm sorry. Oh,
Lions are more intriguing to me as we approach the date, but again, like to avoid divisional games would be fantastic. It's just almost impossible week 1.
I will say, speaking of the network, Sports Gambling Podcast put out their locks. Sean is on Miami.
I know. I listened, and
he's on the Chiefs, so we're aligned there with him. And Kramer is on the Raiders, so we're aligned with them on those at least.
Yeah.
So let it ride. All right.
Let it ride.
Okay, so we're not leaning, but we're we're flirting with
we are
flirting with the Dolphins, Steelers, and Cardinals lines. Yeah. All right.
How many is that? 4-3? Yeah. I don't know. It's gonna be a tough one. Maybe we just do. I know, like Ryan and Sean last night, and Ryan let Sean pick the last one because he was like, you can have this one as like the deciding factor for like the final one. So maybe we're gonna have to do that at like one point where it's just like you call it on this week, and then I'll call it next week if we had to do that.
All right. I feel like that really puts us at odds, though. You fucked it up.
Yeah, I know. I don't want to get. Yeah, it's true. All right, we'll have to figure.
I don't want this to ruin our friendship.
It won't. It's not going to, because also like my expectations are on the floor, so it doesn't really.
Your expectations in Vegas were so high, saying you're going to be the first women to win it, at least.
No,
or at least
I was going to come in fourth. I was going to come in fourth.
Yeah, because the highest a woman has placed in million is fifth place. So
yes.
All right. So right now, if you guys want to put in some bets, Texas +3, Raiders +2.5, and Chiefs -3.
Yeah.
So we're aligned on those.
We need another favorite. We need more favorites up in this place.
Yeah. Well, Steelers and Cardinals are favorites. All right.
All right. Let's head out of here. We'll be back on Monday. Debrief the weekend, give out some early picks, see how we did. Then back Tuesday, then back Thursday again. The NFL season's back. I'm so pumped. Like, rate, review, subscribe, comment, and we'll see you guys next week.
Have a great football weekend.
See ya.